One of the lessons that I want to open my workshop with is actually a saying by Dennis Waitley. And he is actually telling us in life we have two choices. It's either we accept the conditions that we are going through as they exist, the same way they are. We just accept them and move along with them. Or the other one is to accept the responsibility for changing these conditions. So we always have two choices to make in life. Which one it is depends on you and where you see yourself in life. Because we're just chasing after something. Every time, everywhere we go, we're chasing after the next best thing. And at the end, the person, the owner of the video, whoever produced it, is telling us to do what? Be still, to still ourselves. And maybe just remember, that we are grounded in something that is greater than ourselves. And it allows us to go back to why we were meant, our purpose was. Because then often at times when life gets so busy, you are everywhere, you are needed everywhere, you forget what it is that you were meant to come and do. And that's wherever you are not really giving your best and you are not performing at your best level. So that video would just take us back to say, sit back, reflect, and remind yourself what you were meant to come and do. So we're going into the definition of what vision is. I'm sure everybody can see from the back. But really, for me, I feel vision is when when you really begin to imagine it in your mind. All right? Like we already said before, it's a picture of where you want to be. And if you don't have it in your mind, how will you get there? So a vision allows you it gives you that picture of what it is that you want. All right? And then the purpose is when you understand what you were brought here to come and accomplish. Like I said, you understand your shape, you understand that according to your character, this is what you're meant to be doing on earth, right? So you understand what you were born to accomplish, and then your goals actually just takes you there. Because now that you know what you have to do, you just trust in the next best step to take from then on. And I think that is where, in purpose, that is where we are asked to actually pause and try to get that clarity of this is what I want to do, but then all the rest of the stuff still need to happen. There's a lot of external distraction, there's life that needs to happen, but once you know and you get clarity of what it is, it becomes very difficult for you to be distracted. So which means your focus stays onto the purpose, and then your vision is like you're almost the umbrella of it all right? So those are the three definitions that I got about vision. It's when you begin to imagine it. And the vision board actually allows you to imagine it, because now you are into that imaginary world and you are building it, you are putting it together, all right? Mm-hmm. And then, knowing what you are here, what you are meant to be doing here, you start to work towards that, all right? So our personal goals gets us there. I think we all agree with that, right? Mm-hmm. That knowing ourselves is the beginning of all wisdom. We go outside into the world to look for accolades. We go outside in the world to do things so that we can please other people. We go out, we see what somebody else is having, and we say, how can we make it better, or how can we have it better? But I think all the answers that we need are within ourselves. And when we begin to understand who we are, at the same time understanding our flaws and understanding our strength, we begin to operate from that space that nobody can take away from. So maybe one learning that I've taken from vision is that no two visions are the same. We all have different visions. And also another thing I have come to understand is that even though we are in the same specialization, we will never fulfill the same need. It will always be different. Even if both of us are nurses, we will never ever feel the same need that is in society. Just because you are you, and you have your own workings and mechanisms that are within you that you have to deliver to the world, all right? And like I said before, our muscles, our every organ and part of our body is placed at a strategic position to perform a certain purpose. So are you to fulfill a certain purpose in this world, all right? And one of the things I like to use is, like, for example, when you look at Mercedes-Benz or Toyota, all these car manufacturing companies, a car is first produced, the designer of the car first produced the first prototype of the car with all its features, what it's supposed to do, what speed it's supposed to travel at, Everything is determined already and put down in a manual, and how things work for that certain item or a certain car before it comes down to the market. All right. So if we look at ourselves, we are here fully like this, right? And that's because we have a manual of how things work, of how our purpose should be in life. Meaning that the God that created us already has a manual for how all the stages of our lives are going to materialize and are going to come to fruition. All right. So we can never stop to trust in the person who has created us. We can never stop to doubt in what he has entrusted us to come and do on earth. And I can tell you that your intuition always nudge you into the direction that you're supposed to come and fulfill on earth. If you listen very well, if you quieten your mind very well and quieten yourself, it will always take you closer to that direction that you're coming to fulfill. So maybe now we can look at, what are some of the things that we could do to come closer to our vision, or to write down our vision, and just do the exercise. I remember not so long ago, I visited Marianne, and one of the things that stood out with I always have these one-on-one sessions with her as well, and I ask her questions, and she's probably tired of me now asking questions. But the one question that I asked her was that, Marianne, what if my vision is, unrealistic? What if it's just like, rockets in the sky? What if my vision is not measurable? What then? What am I going to do? And she just gave me this odd look, and she said to me, your vision being measurable on whose standards, to whose terms? So a vision has to come from your own authenticity. It must not be directed by intellect, by what you have acquired, and I know so much and so forth, so I'm going to kind of regulate it. It has to come naturally to you. So whatever way you use the vision board, whatever thing that comes up, put it down. Don't think about it. Those are the wise words that I've been told. Don't try to manipulate it, because then it's going to be man-made. But a vision is not man-made, right? It doesn't work on the requirements and expectations of people. A vision is innate. A vision is something that comes from someone that is greater than us and greater than our understanding. So don't try to debate with it. Often the times we want to debate with it because we saw with somebody else it looks nice and I want that. But is it really what is meant for you? Or are you just taking somebody's dream, and then when it comes to you, like the Mo said, it's not going to work for you because it's not what was meant for you? So let's see, what are some of the simple things that we can take away when we are writing our vision? So the first one is our vision has to be clear and simple. The first time you start to write a vision, it's going to be a lot of pages, really, because it's a lot of things, and you got to listen to your heart. So it's going to be a lot of information, but all that, it's okay. Let it all come in and don't discard. Acknowledge and write it down, whatever it is you want. But then at the end, you have to synthesize the information and make it simpler so that you can have at least a sentence of what you stand for. All right? And like I've read, you can have visions for many things in your life, but obviously you have an overall vision of what you stand for and what you desire actually in your life. So find a quiet place. Really, I mean this, because our life is so busy. Because when you think about the whole routine of getting out of the house, you have to shower, you jump quickly, the child comes, you have to prepare breakfast. It's like a lineup of things until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You are just busy. And when you get into the car, it's this pumped up music, boom, 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 until at your office. And then when you come at the office, there's the talking. Everybody's talking to you. And so the noise is too much. When do you ever be still and get quiet? And this one tells you about her problems, this one, you tell your problems to them, and it just goes on until 5 o'clock. And sometimes we always like, when somebody goes, I'm very busy, just call me maybe after 6. And then you come back to your business. you work a bit, the project that you have to do, then you go to Facebook, oh, what is that, who's that, oh, somebody got married, and then you go back to Instagram, oh wow, she looks so beautiful, oh, I like that, and you go back to work. So how, like Bemu said, can we calculate the solid hours that we can call work and distinct that from the nonsense, if I have to put it? Because we need to be quiet, and a quiet mind is the one that has adopted, that is mindful, you know. You are present, you are here, and you are doing this. So from what I've learned also from Marianne, again, I'll refer to her a lot today, it takes a quiet place, you know. You have to really make it, if I have to say, sacred. Sit down, maybe light some candles if you have to, you get your favorite music, whatever needs to be done, and get into that, okay? Get into that quietness that is required. Because in that quietness, I promise you, if you have a pen and a paper, that's where everything comes out. That's where most of, like Bemu said, that inner. And that's where your answers would also come from. Because then in that quietness, God speaks, to be honest. He speaks on your behalf. So let's find a quiet place and do that. And then you write down all your desires on paper, like we said. That's very simple, you know. I want this, in 5 years' time I want a farm, it has to be somewhere, in this time I want a car. So all these nice things, and I mean, don't forget to go all out, you know. It has to be flamboyant, it has to be colorful, it has to make you happy. Because a vision that is dead will not motivate you. Yeah, it won't motivate you. You will just, that paper, you will just forget about it. So it has to make you feel good. And in that step, one of the important things is to cultivate the feeling of it. If I have this thing that I say I want, how will it make me feel? You know, what feelings come to me? Because feeling is very important. We have to feel it in order to say that, you know, I'm not feeling it now, but it's coming, so I have to work towards it, right? To have that feeling, all right? And then lastly, your vision has to be, in that line, it has to be bigger than just wanting things for yourself. All right, it has to include other people. And I could make references to the Bible as well, loving your neighbor as you love yourself, because that's how, you can't just have a vision that is self-centered. It has to go beyond yourself. All right, and then okay, vision must